The Kerala state in India was brought to a standstill amid protests there when women entered a Hindu temple. The fallout is still being felt today. It's been felt there. It's been, the ramifications are absolutely enormous. So staying with me to talk about this is still with me here, Bishop Siwe, Teresa Conradi, and a very warm welcome to you. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
What is your viewpoint when it comes to women in religious circles?
First of all, Jane, may I say I'm thrilled to be with you.
Thank you.
And may I also say that I do not represent the voice of mainstream religious Judaism here, as I happen to be vice chair of the South African Union of Progressive Judaism, but I'm thrilled to be part of this discussion.
Thank you.
So
it's good to get another voice.
Another voice,
yes.
Okay. I really believe that what you've heard from these wonderful people here tonight and this horrific incident that you've described is not only a religious phenomenon. I think it should be seen in the context, as you've mentioned, of a world evolving into a brand new space. Democracy is young. It's got a long way to go. And this love of equality, which is certainly very, very, very well to the fore in the Old Testament, of which I practice in progressive and religious Judaism, it does state equality of women. But one can't take the religious scene out of the macro scene of the world. Up to our era, people have definitely discriminated against women. But they've discriminated against other people as well, LGBT, people of color. That is still going on all over the world. So this fight within a religious context mirrors really what is happening in the wider world. And as you can see, there are so many successes today. So yes, there is an unbelievable tension in all religions, I think, between tradition, between habitual practice and making it palatable in terms of our equality of everyone today.
Okay, if you pick up what Reva Foreman's been saying, I mean, how, okay, obviously the church is representative of what's happening today in society, but how do you keep people in check? I mean, what should happen if you speak out of turn? Because it should be a progressive outlook of equality and fairness to all.
We should not only be reactionary. Of course, those who are out of line needs to be held accountable, as is the case, of course, in many of the religious spaces. When people speak or act against the position of that religious community, there are processes that deal with that. But the key thing for me is the continuous education, exposure, advocacy, and teaching, because the transformation in gender issues has taken too long, and no religious right give a right to oppress other people because of religious beliefs.
I mean, this sort of oppression as well, you see it in, the high levels of abuse towards the congregation, Bishop Pastor Amatosa, who was abusing girls. I mean, is that one of the worst ends of the sort of trickle effect of disrespecting women in church?
No doubt. But there is certainly a big difference and an obvious difference between religious practices that are harmful to women or cultural practices that are harmful to women, like female circumcision, for instance. It can never, ever, no matter what the cultural reason is, be accepted. But I think what we need to start doing, I myself, I've been an attorney for 30 years. I'm one of the most senior female attorneys in Pretoria. Which is a disgrace and a shame. But then today, if I was 30 years old, there would be hundreds of female attorneys in Pretoria. So I agree with Reva. We must just very intentionally start teaching in our churches, in our communities, in our families, that women have value.
I mean, so that's a good point, isn't it? That it should start before the church anyway.
Yes, absolutely. And if you look at all religions, and I'm excluding none, at the heart of that religion leaving extremists out of any religion.
Yes.
It's unbelievable respect. And you were mentioning Deborah in the Old Testament. Now, this tension between traditional practices and equality, in the Old Testament, there is an incredible story that in that era, as was the norm, your inheritance, your land, your possession could only go to a son or to men. And yet there is the instance of these two young women, sisters, whose brothers had been killed, who appealed to God, and God heard their plea and allowed them to inherit. So even in the Judeo-Christian ethics, and I'm sure in the other religions as well, there's always times where the tradition gives away to the justice of the situation.
Very quickly, because we finished, I mean, could you ever see a woman pope? I mean, would it be an attractive thing, yes or no? Yes? Another time.
Another time.
We're going to have to leave it there. Reva, former Teresa Comrade, and Bishop Zipho Siwa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's our show for tonight. Checkpoint is next.